Welcome to this demo of the New Zealand Academy of Sport Athlete database system. We don't have an official name for it yet, so watch this space, but what I'll do in this and the next video as well is give you a demo of just basic functionality of the system and show you a few things that we're still working on. So this is what you'll see when you first open it up, just a white screen, but the most important thing to do firstly is click on the individuals button, which is in the top left corner. So I'll do that, and what we see now is a selection of the people in the database. At the moment there's about 1100 people in there, so that includes athletes and providers and coaches and medical staff and various sort of other people involved with the academy, and you'll just see a selection on your screen until you search for a particular athlete or a particular sport. So let's have a go at that. If I was to look for an athlete whose name that I knew, I might type their initials, for example, B space C, and what you'll see is all athletes, providers, coaches, and so on, with BC as their initial. If I wanted to search by the name of John, I'd simply go John space, and there you go, I'd see once again people with that name. Another way is to use the sport search tool. You can click on these three dots here and a wizard will open up, getting you to select your sport. I'll pick canoe, and when I hit the green arrow, all people associated with the sport of canoe are listed. So I've created a fictitious athlete to demonstrate some aspects of the system using my daughter's name to do this demonstration. So I've selected the athlete, and the first thing we see is some personal information about this athlete and some basic support team details as well. So I'll just draw your attention over to the right hand side of the screen here. You'll see individual and performance are two tab options. We're in the individual side at the moment, and what you'll see here is name, date of birth, phone number, email address, sport, karting level, etc. That's at the top of the screen. Below that is a list of all athletes, all of the athletes' support personnel. So that ranges from people within the sport to medical staff, strength and conditioners, and so on. I've added a lot of support team people to illustrate how the system works, but as you can see here, people are listed and their role listed next to it. The value of being in someone's support team is that you are then allowed to see their information. So it's a little bit like a Facebook system where you may be friends with someone and that entitles you to see their information. It's the same in this system. And what you'll find is that you'll be very quickly able to navigate to athletes that you are involved with because you'll have a selected search window. There are other pieces of information on this individual page which you can see here. You can list letters and significant communications you've had with someone. There are some address fields here to allow for postal communication, and there's also some administrative stuff which is potentially useful when athletes are travelling or for Prime Minister's scholarship situations and so on. The real work behind this system has gone into the performance tab, so I'll just take you to that, and what you'll see is a plethora of tabs up on the top there that cover the various disciplines that the Academy is involved with. But the first two, the IPP summary and the IPP, are the key parts of the system, and they really allow providers, coaches, athletes, and so on to interact with the athlete's performance plan and keep it alive. So the IPP window is shown now. It lists three types of goals. The first type of goal is the top level. These are the performance goals, and as you can see, these are things such as winning an Olympic gold medal, or running a certain time, or qualifying for a certain event. And these are what drive the next level of goals, which are either New Zealand Academy of Sport goals and other goals. So New Zealand Academy of Sport goals are ones which we are involved with trying to accomplish. So our support staff, strength and conditioning, nutrition, medical, athlete life, and so on, these are goals which we can be responsible for achieving, and as a consequence of achieving these goals, then the performance goals are more likely to be achieved. So we will be discussing the NZAS goals and how they link into NZAS strategies in more detail in the next video. But for now, I'm just going to draw your attention to some of these NZAS goals here. For example, to resolve a hip and knee injury problem, to improve upper body power, to achieve a certain body weight, to get better pressure coping skills, etc., and some non-NZAS goals relating to sponsorship and special development of a shoe and so on. I'll just move on to the next tab, which is the IPP strategies window, and this is where some detail around how our NZAS providers are going to achieve some of their goals. This is where the detail is put down. So I'll open one of these goals up, and we can see some of the detail that will be entered in around this type of goal. So these forms are in the process of being changed slightly, so apologies for showing you something that may not be in place further down the track, but this gives you a good indication of the type of information that we'll be wanting to enter in. So each strategy will be attached to a goal, there'll be a person attached to the strategy, there'll be a description, an action plan with obviously a bit more detail than this, and there'll be some further discussion around short-term and long-term measurements, and significantly what happens when the strategy is achieved. Some notes will be written about why it was achieved so well, and what learnings could be drawn in the future. So each strategy is a unique item. It will be attached to a person, and that person will be responsible for evaluating progress and reporting back to the performance planner, or a person within the sport, such as a head coach, to indicate how well the athlete is tracking towards their goal. So that was a quick little demo around the individual tab and the performance section. I will do a second video which will go into greater detail with regard to the IPP and the IPP strategies window, so that you can get a good feel for what that's going to be like.